We're going to start with opening statements. Please let us know a little bit about your background, your vision for Ward D, and any measurable goals you'll set for yourself as our councilperson.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank the RNA and the JC High parents and the other organizations that put together this great event. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Elvin Dominici Encarnacion. I'm a proud Latino from the Dominican Republic that came to this country 25 years ago with my family in order to pursue what we call the American dream. My first job in the country was at a car wash. I was making about $200 per week, and within a year, I became a father. So it was very hard for me to start, but I knew that I got to do better. I'm very proud to say my son was born in Christ Hospital, and with time, I went to school. I went to Hudson County Community College, where I started my ESL classes, level 1, and with hard work and dedication, I was able to earn 2 masters. I have a master's in finance, and I have a master in accounting, and I have worked financial industry for the last 20 years. I stand before you here because I want to represent the diversity that represent Ward D. And my vision for Ward D is very simple. There are a platform that we want to talk about tonight. Number 1 is affordability. We want to make sure that rent controls are embraced and enforced so tenants have a right to stay in our city. We want to work with the city government in order to assure that the inclusionary zoning ordinance that allow developers to come to our neighborhoods is increased for 10% affordable, which is not implemented right now, most cases, to 20% affordable housing. That's going to allow people that were in Jersey City before developers to stay here. Something that is very important to us is that when developers come to our neighborhoods to talk about these projects, we need to find ways to have this conversation about how the project is going to affect our community, which benefits are we going to get for these projects, and how much affordable housing we want to need. Also, I want to make sure that we get workforce housing, so teachers, firefighters, police officers get a chance to be here. The second part of the platform is public safety. When we talk about public safety, we want to make sure that police is patrolling throughout the world, not only in cars, but we want them to be in bikes, motorbikes, so they can get to the emergency a little faster. We want a full staff JCPD department because right now they are not fully staffed, and that's part of the issue when enforcement is not being done. And lastly, we want to make sure that when somebody called the 911 department, the responses are actually done and on time. Now, when we talk about quality of life, one of the main things that we want to resolve is the problem with garbage. We got over 1,500 complaints within a year. We want to divide the city in 4 different zones so we can get 4 different vendors to pilot whether they deliver, clean the streets, and providing the service. I want to provide at least 180 garbage containers so people can provide services and clean the streets every day. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being here.
Okay, question 1. In Ward D, especially, residents have complained for decades about the dirty streets. What do you think are the key bottlenecks that are keeping our possums fed? What's your plan for eliminating them, and when should we expect a material improvement? If your proposal is for more financial investment, please give a sense of how much. You have 90 seconds.
Listen, I mean, everybody knows there is a problem in Ward D with garbage, but it's not just about promising, it's having an actual plan that can solve the issue. This is the plan. What we want to do, as I was saying before, we want to divide the city in 4 different zones so we can contract these garbage collector companies, and we can do a pilot program, at least for a year, so we can see how they do, whether they clean after themselves, they have meetings with the community, we can have complaints, they can listen, they can resolve those issues. Another thing that we want to do, we want to bring back the neighborhood improvement division. This division is going to be in charge of hiring people that can come twice a day to collect garbage throughout the streets, put in those 180 containers that we're going to put throughout the district. That is going to cost between $600,000 to $500,000, and making sure that the streets are clean. Also, one thing that I want to do is that maybe we can sweep, if we keep the streets clean, just once a week, so parking is conserved for people and people don't need to go parking every other day. So these are the things that we can do. Also, enforcement is a big issue, making sure that businesses and even people, and the people also that go out with dogs and they don't clean after the dogs, we want to make sure that they get fines and they can actually do their job. So let's work together to make that happen coming November. Thank you.
our second question is about housing. It's two parts, and part one is multiple choice, so you'll have time to expand on the second part. Jersey City should be growing much slower, slower, about the same as now, faster, as fast as people want to move here.
About the same as now.
Part two, housing. This is a lengthy question, so. High demand cities with minimal zoning have realized low rents but have a lot of development. Example, Austin. High demand cities with strict zoning have seen rents skyrocket but have minimized development. San Francisco, New York City. Way more people want to live here than we have homes for. Which city or cities are best at managing housing demand? Either from the examples above or ones you're aware of. Which policy or policies of theirs would you borrow? If your proposal is for more financial investment, including tax abatements, please give us a sense of how much.
All right, we know for sure that there is a lot of developer coming to Jersey City and Ward D. You have seen the duplex, lux condos that are everywhere in Ward D. So I don't know how much affordable housing we can get out of that. For me, it's very simple. We got to work with the city government and have the right leadership to make sure that going forward, we can provide affordable housing for the community. The question is a little, crowded with different things, but at the end of the day, as a council person, the most important thing is enforce rent control, make sure that right to council is a place to protect tenants, provide affordable housing, and provide workforce housing for police officers, teachers, and firefighters in our city. Thank you.
Question 3 is about parking. Way more people want off-street parking than we can have spots for. What's your plan for rationing parking? If your proposal is for more financial investment, please give a sense of how much.
Everybody knows that we have a parking problem, and there is a lot of promises that are being tried here so people can like what they're saying, but the reality is how we're going to do this. I actually participated in a meeting with the RNA and the director of the DOT where conversations were talked about having rapid lanes for buses and ghosting buses that come 3 and 4 at the same time. Unfortunately, some of the infrastructure that we have in the city do not allow to have those rapid lanes. Yes, we want to invest in more public transportation. Yes, we want to invest in bike lanes. Yes, we want to make sure that people in the district and the city have the capability to transport themselves throughout the world without any issue. But we have only in Ward D 44,000 residents that also have cars. So we got to make sure that we build a multi-level public parking either across for the JCPD department or behind Burger King. Either we can do an initial investment, because I have numbers. I'm just not going to throw you promises here just empty. We need to invest at least $9 million to make that happen. Part of that can be collected when we apply for funding through the state, to the federal government, and part of it, because I don't want to put taxes and more strain on Ward D families, we can issue maybe munis, bonds within the city government, so funds can be allocated to do this project. We need to do both. Work with public transportation, also make sure that the residents of Ward D can get access to parking. Thank you.
Question 4, this is about spending quantity and priorities. This is multiple choice. Please just give us your multiple choice answer. There's a follow-up question to expand. Municipal spending in Jersey City is too low, about right, or too high for our needs?
Spending on the community too low.
From your review of the city budget, where should we be spending materially less? Materially more, please only consider city resources, no grants or help from the federal or state government.
So many different things that we can take this point, but the main thing that I believe that the city should be doing is provide more affordable housing for the residents, making sure that developers pay their part in taxes, make sure that the infrastructure of the streets are done. We have a problem with enforcement throughout the city, whether it's the police, with public or pedestrian safety, whether it's calling the department just to get a service done. But we also have to save money finding who are those people that are in our payroll that we are paying taxes to and getting paid without working. We got to make sure that we revise with an audit to see who actually is doing their job in the city, and whoever is not working and benefit of this community shouldn't be working, and we shouldn't be spending money on those things. At the end of the day, what is more important is to make sure that the taxes money that we invest in our community are invested back with us, the people of Ward D and the people of Jersey City. And as your next council person, I'm going to do my best to have your ears, to have your eyes, to be accountable only to you, to ensure that the tax money that is spent and paid by the city, it comes back to this community. Thank you.
In exchange for their taxes, the services residents receive are a bargain, fair, or poor.
Poor.
This is the second part of that. If you think residents get poor service quality for their money, what tangible steps will you take to improve service quality, and when should we expect material improvement?
Sure. One of the biggest issues that I see throughout our city government and our district and the residents is very simple, which is the lack of communication. How hard it is to get in touch with the department, the city, and follow up with any particular issue that is affecting our neighborhoods. So being able to rely information on time and work with our community whenever there is a pothole, whenever there is a need for a stop sign, whenever you need a permit to open a business, that it doesn't become a hassle, right? Because there's a lot of people that had to go through so many different things to make that happen. So we also got to make sure that, especially in Ward D, you can see, because you see the neighbor city, the infrastructure, the streets are clean, the lights throughout the wards is very bright. We don't have that. And we as a community, paying taxes, relying our money to this city government, we deserve the leadership that is going to make sure whenever there is a need, there is a problem, is going to be on your side to make sure that these services are on your side. We are tired of promises. We are tired of excuses. We got to make sure that we have the right person that can hold whoever is in office, either is the person that is running with me for mayor below there or whoever is there, accountable and only respecting the will and the pleasure of the residents of Ward D. Thank you.
Our next question is about independence from the mayor. The campaign materials we mainly see show the mayor's name more prominently than yours. Given how reliant council people generally are on their slate to get elected, how can we be confident our council person will be independent from the mayor?
So maybe most of you know me now because I'm running for city council as a politician, but I always label myself as a community activist. For the last 17 to 18 years, maybe some of the candidates here were in high school or even college, I've been helping this community nonstop. First, in 2011, I started taking a petition to get a traffic light on the corner of Summit and Poplar Street that the candidate for Mr. Salomon, Veronica, can go right now with her family to cross the street most safely. I helped to organize the largest small business association on the county, the Hispanic American Commerce Association, HACA. I have helped for the last, 8 years, because I ran independently, for those who don't know, as a council person at large in 2021. There is nobody, whether it's below there or whoever else get elected, that is going to tell me what to do. The last thing that I'm going to do as a person that loves this community, as a person who has sacrificed so much to represent the people of Ward D, is to get pushed around by developers or political interests. There are people over there that I'd rather have you as a part of the political affiliation or ideology. I want you to be a person that enjoys living in Ward D with the beautiful diversity that we have here, embracing this great community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next two questions are about street safety and transit. So this is part one. Just stick with this question. If the city doesn't implement the mayor's proposal to turn Baldwin and Summit fully into one-way streets to accommodate a rapid bus transit lane and protected bike lane, will you take ownership for introducing and supporting legislation during your term to implement these changes?
So this is a very sensitive issue for the people that live in Ward D. And I have said it many times, even when I first started running with Houston County View, I'm supportive of bike lanes. I am supportive for improvements for pedestrian safety, but we have to be responsible. And what I mean by responsible, we have to go to the community where the bike lanes are going to be installed. We have to be inclusive. I want to have notices in different languages so people that don't speak English, speak different languages can be inclusive of what's going on. I want to sit down on the table with the different business owners that are going to be affected because the trucks cannot come in to deliver, drop, or pick up, the suppliers. Just saying because it's the popular answer, yes, I support bike lanes and I support transportation. I think it's irresponsible for the candidates because at the end of the day, you got to hold yourself accountable to the residents who live in Jersey City. And by that, I'm not saying that I'm not supporting it. What I'm saying is I want to hold myself accountable to having meetings and conversation to make sure that I understand exactly what is the point of view of the residents that live in that particular area. If you don't remember, not long ago, the current council person here was able to get the bike lanes on Franklin Avenue. There was a lot of people that were very upset because the process did not include the residents and the people that live in the area. And as a council person, sometimes people lean to one side of the table. You got to make sure that you're inclusive and support projects that the community support. Thank you so much.
Relationship with schools and the Board of Ed. Do you think residents are better off in the city if the city appoints members to the Board of Ed? If so, what tangible benefits for the students would the city appointment bring? If not, what, if any, do you think the municipal government's relationship with the schools should be?
So for many years, the relationship between the city government and the JCVOE has been awful. It has been a lot of pointing fingers and blaming who's doing what and what. What we believe is, number one, we got to make sure that we work together to ensure that the state completely funded our schools so our kids get a better education, better infrastructure, better curriculum, and work together with the VOE, having meetings and talking about issues that we can help our kids in their future. Now, I do not believe that appointing VOE members is going to help us at all. It's just going to create another loophole where corruption and greedy politicians are going to come and going to get the people in the BOE with a budget that exceeds the $1 billion. So as a community activist, as a father of 3 beautiful boys, my kid is in a special need and PS 39, I want to see people that truly love and care the children of Jersey City and our public school running and representing our community. Even now, if I'm not mistaken, the kids with 17 years old are able to vote and able to enroll in this democratic process. So the last resort, or I don't want to see at all, is a mayor deciding who's going to be the VOE members in our community. Thank you.
Our roads, sidewalks, and streetscapes are in objectively poor condition. What have been the key bottlenecks to improving their quality? What's your plan for eliminating them, and when can we expect a material improvement? If your proposal is for more financial investment, please give us a sense of how much.
We got to make sure that developers, when they destroy our streets, they not only fix the road, also the sewers, that PCNG come in, if they destroy the streets as well, they also fix it. But we got to talk about reality, not just promises. Currently, the city have a budget for about $50 million that they distribute and they see different works. So that money is not enough to really bring realistically the improvements that we need. We have to find ways to raise more money, whether it's going outside of the city government, finding resources with grants or different state supporting agencies. Something that we have to look is also hold accountable the multinationals that we have in downtown Jersey City. We got a payroll tax that also help the BOE and the public system, so we can collect more money instead of putting it on the backs, on the expenses of the residents of Ward D. We want to make sure that everybody pay their share. So let's work together to find ways, whether it's overspending of the budget, right? Because I cannot tell you how much it's going to be. I need to see the numbers. I haven't mastered in accounting, and I haven't mastered in finance. And then we can allocate the resources to make sure that Ward D can look even better than the neighborhood city, with lights everywhere, with pedestrian safety throughout the streets, with bike lanes, and public transportation for all. Thank you.
Non-criminal enforcement. Jersey City's current enforcement regime is for non-criminal infractions. Things like speeding, biking on the sidewalk, short-term rentals, and noise is much too aggressive, about right, not aggressive enough. What enforcement? In 1 minute, feel free to add color. This is 1 minute, not 90 seconds.
What enforcement, for sure. So there are many petty crimes that happen throughout Ward D, whether they steal our packages for Amazon, whether somebody just leave the waste of the door behind, whether somebody just going to in the store to start shoplifting. We got to make sure that we have the right enforcement and the amount of police officers available to do this. As it has been said before, the police right now is short about 80 police officers. They move from the different municipality because they don't get paid enough. The salaries when they start, even though the top, they get paid a lot of money. When you start as a Rocky officer, you start about with $40,000. You're gonna put your life at risk because you're gonna earn $40,000. Not a lot of people is willing to do that. At the end of the day, we got to work with the police to make sure that they fully staffed, that they get paid with dignity, and we got to get sure that they go out there and enforce. Go get these people that are stealing, people that are wasting. Make sure that we do that. Thank you.
Closing state question. Underappreciated passion. Is there any idea you're passionate about seeing implemented that we may not know about from your campaigning thus far?
Well, I'm very passionate about Ward D and all the different options that we can get our neighborhood better. That's why I put my platform that talk about affordability, quality of life, and public safety. But something that we have been doing, that we are the only candidate doing it, is we solving problems right now. We helping people right now. So, for instance, the Pershing Field Park was needing 2 public bulletin boards. We were able to lobby with the city, and they have it right there. Another example, the Western Slope Garden, they needed to remove a guardrail, was there for the last, 10 years. We were able to lobby that and make it happen. Riverview Park for the 4th of July was needing the assistance of the police in order to protect exotic plants around the gazebo. We were able to do that. There was a neighbor on Ogden Street that have somebody park in front of the house 4 months, saying bad words, causing the children and family. We were able to work with the police to make that happen. So for me, as a leader and a community activist, what is more important is to have a good relationship with the community. And that's why I want to create what I call the Neighborhood Commission Board. This board is going to be composed of leaders, community activists, and people that work in nonprofits that can come to the office, rely on the services of the council office of Ward D, work directly with the city government, and make sure that everything that is needed for this community is done. Something that we want to do is that we want to have quarterly meetings with the representatives of all the different departments to make sure that they are whole accountable. So if there is a pothole that needs to be filled, if there is an issue with our parks and streets, we had to make sure that we have those conversations. And I'm gonna tell you right now that I have all the answers. And that's why this has to be inclusive, and we got to bring people to the table that is willing to do the work. Thank you.